I was in the shower and I took my moon cup out and I ended up just touching my blood in my hand.
Okay.
And then I ended up rubbing it on my belly that first time. And it was like a reclaiming of my blood
Okay.
because I had been told like my blood is gross, that it's
Yeah.
like
Mm.
it's icky. It's like society had told me that this blood that comes out of me, which is actually like life-giving blood,
Mm-hmm.
is gross. And so reclaiming my blood has been a really powerful part of connecting in with my cycle and my rhythm. I'm
Mm-hmm.
pretty in tune with my cycle and I know where I am without even having to look at dates or track it.
Okay.
Um, and so what usually happens, because I'm a bit of a witchy medicine woman, what usually happens when I'm with a blood ritual is it'll just be intuitive. I'll be about to have a shower or something and I'll take my moon cup out and I'll play with my blood somehow on my body, like whether it's
Oh.
like an area of my body that might need some love and attention. And then usually what comes out is light language will come out, like some
Mm-hmm.
kind of ancient language comes out of me. And I end up like in the mirror looking at myself. And it's almost like a journey that happens. So
Mm.
that's something that I do. And it's really powerful. And I think a lot of people hearing this will probably be quite triggered by it. Like, what? Putting your period blood on
I
your
mean,
face and
I'm
like
hypnotized about everything you're talking about. Like, oh my God, tell me more about it. I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna do it.
yeah, and having music on for something
Mhm.
like that is really powerful because the frequency, like medicine music, having the frequency of medicine music allows you to drop into the body a little more as well. So, whenever you're self pleasuring, which is also another ritual that I'll do whenever, like I don't
Mhm.
do it every day, but whenever I choose.
Mhm.
But like any of these things, music is really important. It's set and setting, just like when we're going into any kind of ceremony, setting yourself up for the setting. So sometimes when I self pleasure, I don't do it in my bed. I'll set up an altar and I'll set up
Mm.
somewhere else
Mm.
because our bed is where we sleep. It's where we usually share our bodies with someone else. And having a space where it's just for self pleasure can be really beautiful to create the space. We love beautiful
Mm.
things. We love beautiful
Yeah,
environments. Have a candle
absolutely.
going, have essential oils to mix with a carrier oil, and like really allow the senses to be activated because sensuality is literally that. It's just being with the
Mm.
sensations of the body.
Mhm.
And so all of these self-care rituals are things that I plan, but I don't make it a thing that I have to do it.
Mm.
If I don't do it, I'm not loving myself. That's a load of
Mm.
shit.
Mm. Yeah, you have to have morning routine, evening
Yeah.
routine. If you want to be
Yeah.
successful, wake up at 4
Yeah.
a.m., go for a jog, do that and do that.
I
With
I have a yeah, I have a client at the moment and I'm sure like I'll keep her anonymous, but we were talking, she's got some health stuff that she's being with. So her full-time job at the moment is to heal. And she's
Mm.
doing a lot of things to heal. And the other day we had a call and she was talking about how she just feels really overwhelmed by all the things she has to do. And we talked about
Mm.
what those were. And like honestly, all of the self-care rituals for her healing is massive. What she's doing in a day to help her body, which can actually, when we're in that doing, create our sympathetic nervous system to be in flight or fight. And so she was just an overwhelm. And I said to her, fuck all of that. I
Mhm.
was like, go smoke a joint and get your veg out in the sun. Those were my words. It came out very unpolitically correct. And everyone laughed on the call and she laughed. And I was like, seriously, like, you don't have to do anything. Like, you're not going to be a better human if you do a
Mhm.
morning routine. You're not going to be a more successful person if you do X, Y, Z every
Mhm.
day. Like, and some people thrive off of it. I feel like men in particular love that structure, and women, we need that. We need some
Mm. Yeah.
structure.
Mhm.
However, for me, I don't thrive in that way. Some people
Mm.
do, even women who have a pussy, say, who like more structure. Sometimes it's that releasing of structure that can create a bit of chaos to begin with, but then you realize like the flow is so beautiful. And
Mm.
I'm not saying one's more right or wrong or
Mhm.
better or
Mm.
worse than
Yeah,
another. There is
absolutely.
no
Yeah.
such thing.
Uh-huh.
It's just I know the way of my feminine being is very in flow. And so if I was to say I have to do this every day on this time,
Mm.
or else like so that I can get to goal, that doesn't work for me. Goal always happens for me, and I just flow through the things that I know are going to get me there. So like I have structured things, like I've got a personal trainer today and I see her 3 times a week, and like that's some structure in my week, but I'm not structuring out my whole day of like I do a few things that are structured in my day, and the rest is
because I think that we put so much of a self-worth on our self-care practices. So if I in the past, if I wouldn't like meditate for a few days, I would feel worse. I would be like, oh my god, I'm not worthy anymore because I don't meditate anymore. And now I'm like, if I want to, I will. If I don't, I don't. That's absolutely fine. I like structure personally. So every morning I try to meditate for 10 minutes and journal, like write down 3 things that I'm grateful for, just because I feel good when I'm doing it. I feel like this is what I need, and I need to check up with myself every single day to see how I am. And this is me time. This is time for me. That 15 minutes in the morning is what I need, because later on in the day I might not find that time for myself. So that works perfectly for me. But yeah, waking up at like 4 a.m., going for a run, doing that, and then in the evening doing skincare and that, face mask, bath bombs. I'm like, whoa, that's a lot of work. Like I have social life as well. I have work. I have hobbies. Like I have other things to do as well.
I think if you're thinking about it, you probably got yourself into a mind pattern of you have to do this, or it should look this way. Like if you're just doing it because you enjoy doing it and you're not even thinking about it, it's probably for you. Like you talking about gratitude, like that's so ingrained in me now. And yes, I did used to have like a practice to get me into gratitude. However, over the years, like at night, I always go out and look at the stars just intuitively. It's not something like, oh, I have to go outside and look at the stars. And I always end up being like, I'm grateful for this person. I'm grateful for my body. I'm like, whatever the gratitude wants to come out. And I just thank the universe for being alive. It happened last night, and I came back inside, and I thought, so funny because I do it so without thought. It's sort of one of those things. And I know that when we haven't got practices or self-care practices, and getting our brains into the mode of doing this thing, sometimes we have to get through some like scheduled time for that to make it a practice. But eventually it becomes second nature, and you just do it. It's like the blood ritual. If I had a bleed where I didn't do one, I'm not going to look back and go, oh, I didn't do one. I wouldn't even think about that, because I'm like, if I do it, I do it. If I don't, I don't.
And you're still worthy, like regardless if you're doing this or not. You're still the same person. It's not going to change your worth and who you are.
I've had lots of conversations around money with just different people lately, and like around, and them saying out loud like, it's to do with my worthiness. And I said, it's really not, because the truth is, you, me, all of us are worth all of the stars in the whole universe. We're worth every day and every breath that we wake up. We're worthy of everything. And it's just whether we are choosing to see that. Like our worth is not measured in how much money we have in our bank account. Our worth is not measured by anything we have, because we already have it. We won the jackpot the moment we came here, and we're worth all of it. Otherwise we wouldn't be here. And so that worthiness piece it's like a cognitive dissonance that happens because we think it's to do with our worth, but in actual fact, if you sat back and looked at it, you're worthy of all of it because you're here. Otherwise you wouldn't be. And even that, like the thing worthy, like it's such an interesting concept that we would even think that like even having to think about whether we're worthy or not is bizarre.
Yeah, because we are born worthy. That's who you are. You are worthy because you are here. So why would you consider yourself being worthy or not?
It's a really bizarre word that it even exists, that we even think about it.
Weird. Yeah. Who came up with that? Who was that person?
Someone that was marketing to us to buy shit, probably.
Get this skincare product and you're gonna be more worthy.
Yeah.
That's so true. Like, yeah, you are worthy. That's obvious. Like that should be never considered. Your worth
No,
should never
it's
be
not.
considered.
Your worth is something that doesn't have to be doubted ever.
No, not at all. And still,
Although it does, we're
still,
human.
still, so many people out there doubting themselves when we all
Hmm.
have potential and we are so
Hmm.
worthy of love. We are born to love.
Oh, we are it. This
Mm.
is the thing. It's not, it's not anywhere else. It's here. It's within us, and we came here to love and be loved. That's the whole point. It's the whole game.
But we've
It's a
got
big game of
lost.
love.
We've got lost on our way in this mad
Well,
world.
I did some work with Neil Donald Walsh, who's the author of Conversations with God, and
Mm-hmm.
in his first book of Conversations with God, they talk about you need to know what you are not to know what you are. So oftentimes in our process of creating who we are and being the next grandest version of who we are, we go into what we are not to know what we are. So we get to feel unloved, so we remember we are loved. We get to feel unworthy, so we can feel our worthiness. It's the dance of this dichotomy or duality that we have in this life, this hot, cold, up, down. Like we have the opposites to know the opposite. And so it's like sometimes we go through a toxic relationship and be treated like shit to feel fully unworthy so that we can get into a relationship that's really beautiful and healthy, and we understand and know our worth. We get to know both. We get to have both polarities in this experience that we're having here on this earth, and it's kind of part of it, really. Knowing what we're not to remember who we are.
It's that balance that we need in our every aspect of our life. Yeah, that's beautiful. Do you see any connection between sexuality and abundance? Like you mentioned money, and there's like some spiritual souls out there who say that if you struggle with money, you struggle with your self-worth and you don't think that you're worthy of money. And I've read so many books about money, about the money mindset, and they always repeat that you need to feel worthy of having the money because money is energy. And do you see any connection between if you're in tune with your body, if you see yourself, you know what you like, you know what you don't like, is it somehow connected with abundance, money, prosperity?
I'm going to cut through that because I don't feel like I want to speak to the worthy, because I don't necessarily believe that. I'm going to cut straight to the idea that we are abundant. Abundance is everywhere. And it's the realization of that and getting to that point, and maybe me speaking these words might be it for someone. Abundance is not money. I'm just going to say that. Like, you can have an abundance of money. There is an abundance of money for sure, but it is not innately money. We are that. We are abundance. We are made up of trillions of cells that are oscillating at high frequency. We are like trillions of batteries that are vibrating at such a high frequency, and we're able to have this density of experience. We've got these powerful minds that are imaginations that can create fucking anything, and we get so focused on abundance meaning money, and if that is in our bank account, that means something. It's a load of shit. None of it matters. And when you realize that, you don't have to be worthy of anything. You don't have to try and up your worth, because you're already worthy. You're already abundant. There's nothing or no one outside of you that creates that. It's already here. It's within you. It's being with your body and really fucking feeling the abundance that's within you. I went to Nepal and I was really being with abundance, and I was doing a lot of deep work with ayahuasca at the time, and she was teaching me a lot to do with money, abundance, different things. I was being taught different things. And I was looking around Nepal as we went through Kathmandu and Chitwan, where we did the retreat there. And people were talking about how poor everybody was. Oh, look how poor they are. Oh, we've got to give them money. Oh, all of these things. And yes, I do agree. We can give our resources to others who don't have resources.
Yeah.
Say money. Money is one resource that we have in this life.
Mm-hmm.
However,